She continued to pester him about her request, hoping he would understand her sincerity. But Nzube was adamant, refusing to entertain the idea of being in love with her. Iloma, stop this madness, Nzube exclaimed, his voice tinged with frustration. I'm your father's best friend, a man much older than you. This can't be happening. Once upon a time, in a small village in Umuahia, there lived two best friends named Okoye and Nzube. They did everything together, from playing under the big mango tree to attending the same school. Okoye loved to fix things with his hands, so after finishing secondary school, he went to Onitsha to learn a trade. Nzube, on the other hand, always dreamed of going to school, so he continued his education. Years went by, and Okoye returned to Umuahia. He started his own business and even got married to a lovely woman named Adanna. Nzube also came back as a graduate and soon found a job in the city. Despite being in different places, they never forgot each other. They talked on the phone often and shared stories of their adventures apart. Nzube soon got married to a beautiful lady he met in the university. They both lived happily in the city. One day, Okoye called Nzube with exciting news. Nzube, my friend, Adanna and I are blessed with a beautiful daughter named Iloma. Nzube couldn't contain his joy. He immediately packed his bags and traveled to Umuahia to celebrate with his best friend. When Nzube arrived, Okoye welcomed him with a big smile. Nzube, meet our little angel, Iloma. Nzube gently took Iloma into his arms and looked into her sparkling eyes. She's so beautiful, Okoye. I can't believe how lucky you are. As they talked and laughed, Nzube realized he wanted to do something special for Iloma. Okoye, I want to be Iloma's godfather. Here, take this money and buy her some gifts. Okoye was touched by his friend's gesture. Thank you, Nzube. You will always have a special place in Iloma's life. After spending a few days together, Nzube had to return to the city. But before he left, he promised to visit again soon. Back in the city, Nzube and his wife welcomed a beautiful baby girl named Marcy. Their joy knew no bounds, and they couldn't wait to share the news with Okoye and Adanna. Meanwhile, in Umuahia, Okoye and Adanna cherished every moment with their precious daughter Iloma. They were grateful for their friendship with Nzube and looked forward to more happy times together. After the joyous celebrations of Marcy's birth, Nzube and Okoye continued to cherish their families and friendship. They supported each other through thick and thin, sharing laughter and tears. One fateful day, tragedy struck Nzube's life. His beloved wife was in labor with their second child, but both she and the unborn baby didn't make it. Nzube's world crumbled around him as he faced the unbearable loss. Okoye rushed to his friend's side, offering solace and comfort during his darkest hours. He stayed with Nzube, providing a shoulder to lean on and a listening ear. As Nzube mourned his devastating loss, Okoye suggested bringing Marcy to live with them in Umuahia, but Nzube refused. He insisted on taking care of his daughter himself, despite the pain he was going through. Back in Umuahia, Nzube struggled to cope with his grief. He couldn't bring himself to return to work, and eventually, he lost his job and his home. With only his car and a few belongings, he made the journey back to Umuahia with Marcy by his side. Okoye and his wife welcomed them with open arms, offering all the support and assistance they could. Okoye's wife took Marcy under her wing, caring for her as if she were her own. Determined to provide for his daughter, Nzube sold his car and used the money to start a small provision store. With hard work and dedication, he managed to make ends meet, all the while relying on the unwavering support of his dear friend Okoye and his family. As the years passed, Marcy and Iloma grew into beautiful teenagers. They attended the same school and became inseparable, just like their fathers. Iloma, with her radiant beauty, often drew attention wherever she went, but she never let it get to her head. She treated Marcy with kindness and affection, considering her as a younger sister. Despite their different backgrounds, Marcy and Iloma formed a bond that was unbreakable. They laughed together, studied together, and shared each other's secrets. Iloma's parents were delighted to see their daughter's friendship with Marcy blossom. Little did they know that Iloma's frequent visits to Nzube's store after school were more than just helping out a family friend. Iloma had grown to care deeply for Nzube, admiring his strength and resilience in the face of adversity. As Nzube and Okoye watched their daughters grow closer each day, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and happiness. Their friendship has stood the test of time, and now it was their children who were carrying on their legacy of love and companionship. As time passed, Iloma and Marcy blossomed into beautiful young women. They graduated from university and prepared to embark on their own journeys in life. Marcy decided to leave Umuahia in search of job opportunities, while Iloma chose to stay behind with her parents. She eagerly awaited calls from the companies where she had dropped her CV, hopeful for a chance to start her career. During this time, Iloma grew even closer to Nzube. She was always there for him, answering his calls and spending time with him. Nzube appreciated her presence, grateful for the companionship she offered. Okoye and his wife didn't think much of Iloma's frequent visits to Nzube's store and home. They trusted their daughter and knew she had a good heart. Iloma became indispensable to Nzube, helping him with cooking, cleaning, and even washing his clothes. She did everything she could to make him smile and forget his troubles. One day, while they were alone at Nzube's house, Iloma gathered the courage to ask him a question that had been weighing on her mind. "Nzube, do you like me?" Iloma's voice was gentle, but her question caught Nzube off guard. Nzube's jaw dropped in surprise, unable to comprehend what Iloma was asking. "Of course, I love you like a father loves his daughter," he replied, thinking that was what she meant. But Iloma shook her head, her eyes filled with determination. "No, Nzube, that's not what I meant. I mean, do you like me more than just a daughter?" Nzube's heart skipped a beat as he struggled to process Iloma's words. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Iloma, you are joking, right? You can't be serious." But Iloma was serious. She poured her heart out to Nzube, confessing her love for him and her desire to spend the rest of her life with him. Nzube was stunned into silence. He couldn't wrap his head around the idea of Ileoma being in love with him. She was like a daughter to him, someone he had cared for and nurtured since she was a child. Unable to comprehend the situation, Nzube brushed off Ileoma's confession as a joke. He laughed nervously and asked her to fetch him some water, hoping to change the subject and forget about the conversation. As Ileoma left the room, Nzube was left feeling confused and overwhelmed. He couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to Ileoma's words, but he didn't know how to respond. Little did Nzube know, Ileoma's feelings were genuine, and she was willing to wait for him to come to terms with them. But for now, Nzube remained lost in a sea of uncertainty, unsure of what the future held for him and Ileoma. Days passed, and Ileoma couldn't shake off the feelings she had confessed to Nzube. She continued to pester him about her request, hoping he would understand her sincerity. But Nzube was adamant, refusing to entertain the idea of being in love with her. Ileoma, stop this madness, Nzube exclaimed, his voice tinged with frustration. I'm your father's best friend, a man much older than you. This can't be happening. His words pierced Ileoma's heart, leaving her feeling hurt and rejected. She stood up, tears welling up in her eyes. Look into my eyes and tell me you don't feel anything for me, she challenged Nzube. Nzube remained silent, unable to meet Ileoma's gaze. His heart was in turmoil, torn between his affection for her and the societal norms that dictated their relationship. With a heavy heart, Ileoma stumbled out of Nzube's house and ran home, her tears flowing freely. Back at home, Ileoma tried to hide her emotions from her parents, putting on a brave face despite the turmoil inside her. Her mother sensed something was amiss and tried to comfort her, but Ileoma brushed it off, insisting that nothing was wrong. In the days that followed, Ileoma distanced herself from Nzube, avoiding his house and store altogether. Nzube grew increasingly worried about her and decided to pay her a visit. Upon reaching Ileoma's house, Nzube found Okoye, Ileoma's father, sitting outside. They exchanged pleasantries and shared a drink, but Nzube couldn't shake off his concern for Ileoma. He asked Okoye about Ileoma's whereabouts, expressing his worry about her absence. Okoye assured him that Ileoma was going through a phase in her life but would come around soon. Relieved to hear that Ileoma was okay, Nzube bid farewell to Okoye and made his way home. As he walked, he was surprised to see Ileoma running after him. With a smile, Nzube turned to face her, curious about her sudden appearance. Ileoma wasted no time in teasing him about admitting his love for her. After much contemplation, Nzube confessed his love for her, but he was filled with apprehension about what others, especially Okoye and the villagers, would say. Ileoma reassured Nzube, telling him not to worry about what others might think. She hugged him tightly before running back home, Nzube feeling a mixture of joy and trepidation. That night, Nzube couldn't sleep as he grappled with his newfound feelings for Ileoma. He knew their relationship would face challenges due to their age difference, but he couldn't bear to see Ileoma sad. Meanwhile, Ileoma was filled with happiness, knowing that Nzube reciprocated her feelings. Her parents noticed her radiant smile but couldn't fathom the cause of her newfound joy. Weeks turned into months, and Nzube and Iloma continued their secret affair, meeting at Nzube's house under the pretense of Iloma helping him with chores. They kept their love hidden from everyone, especially from Iloma's parents, who remained oblivious to their daughter's feelings. But one day, Iloma rushed to Nzube's house in tears. She had received news that her parents were arranging for her to marry a suitor from the city. Nzube's heart sank as he comforted her, knowing that this day would eventually come. Iloma poured out her heart to Nzube, explaining how she couldn't bear the thought of marrying anyone but him. Nzube listened intently, his own heart heavy with worry for their future. As suitors continued to come knocking on their door, Iloma refused each one, much to the dismay of her parents. They tried to reason with her, even resorting to force, but Iloma remained steadfast in her resolve. Desperate for a solution, Okoye turned to Nzube for advice. He pleaded with his friend to talk some sense into Iloma, believing that she would listen to Nzube. Nzube promised to speak to Iloma, but deep down, he knew that their love couldn't be easily swayed. Later that day, Iloma visited Nzube and he recounted his conversation with her father. Iloma brushed it off, assuring Nzube that she could handle her parents and their expectations. But Nzube couldn't shake off the mixture of emotions swelling inside him. "How long can we keep hiding like this?" Nzube asked, his voice filled with uncertainty. But Iloma remained resolute. "We will find a way, Nzube, trust me," she said, her eyes shining with determination. Despite his doubts, Nzube couldn't help but trust Iloma. She had always been the strong one, the one who knew how to navigate through challenges with grace and resilience. Their secret meetings continued, and Iloma went to great lengths to chase away any potential suitors. She even turned down a job offer in the city, unwilling to leave Nzube's side. As they spent more time together, their love only grew stronger, binding them together into a bond that was unbreakable. But with each passing day, the weight of their secrets became heavier, and they knew that they couldn't keep hiding forever. But for now, in the safety of Nzube's embrace, they found solace and hope, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Marcy returned home after her time away and was greeted by an unexpected sight. As she entered the house, she saw her father Nzube and Iloma sitting together, sharing a meal. Iloma was feeding Nzube, and Nzube was reciprocating the gesture, their laughter filling the room. Marcy stood frozen in the doorway, watching them in disbelief. Were her father and Iloma seeing each other? Could they be in love? The thoughts raced through her mind, causing her heart to pound with worry. Neither Nzube nor Iloma noticed Marcy's presence until she made a noise, drawing their attention. They quickly composed themselves, putting on fake smiles as they welcomed her. Iloma rushed to Marcy's side, helping her with her bag and offering a warm welcome. But Marcy couldn't shake off the unease feeling in her gut. Something wasn't right, and she knew it. Later that day, as Nzube and Marcy sat together, Marcy couldn't hold back any longer. She confronted her father about what she had seen earlier, but Nzube denied it, insisting that it was nothing. But Marcy couldn't shake off her suspicions. She knew her father well enough to know when he was hiding something from her. The next day, Marcy decided to visit Iloma at her house. She needed answers, and she knew that Iloma was the only one who could give them to her. When Marcy arrived, she wasted no time in getting to the point. "Are you seeing my father?" she asked. Iloma's eyes widened in shock, and she quickly covered Marcy's mouth, dragging her outside to avoid being overheard. "Shh, not here. We can't talk about this in my house," she whispered urgently. But Marcy was determined to get to the truth. She insisted that Iloma tell her everything regardless of the consequences. Iloma hesitated, torn between her loyalty to Marcy and the fear of what revealing the truth might do to their families. But ultimately, she knew she couldn't keep lying to her friend. "Okay, I will tell you everything," Iloma promised, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "But not here. Let's go somewhere more private." As they walked, Iloma's mind raced with worry. She couldn't bear the thought of Marcy knowing their secret, knowing that it could tear their families apart. But she also knew that she owed Marcy the truth, no matter how difficult it might be. Iloma and Marcy found a secluded spot by the roadside where they could finally talk in private. Iloma's heart raced with fear as she prepared to confess her feelings to her friend. I like your father so much, Marcy," Iloma began, her voice trembling with emotion. "I want to spend the rest of my life with him." Marcy was speechless, her mind reeling from the shocking revelation. She struggled to comprehend the depth of Iloma's feelings for her father. Unable to shake off her unease, Marcy voiced out her concerns about what her parents would think if they ever found out about their affair. Iloma reassured her that it was their secret and they would reveal it in their own time. Feeling overwhelmed, Marcy embraced Iloma, tears streaming down her face. She promised to support them as long as they love each other equally. At home, Marcy playfully teased her father about his love for Iloma, letting him know that she was aware of their secret and that she supported them wholeheartedly. Nzube was relieved by her understanding and thanked her for her acceptance. Days passed, and Marcy returned to the city to resume her work. Meanwhile, Mr. Okoye couldn't shake off his worries about Iloma's behavior. Fearing for her future, he decided to arrange a marriage for her with a wealthy young man from the city. On the day of the wedding, Iloma ran away to Nzube's house, seeking refuge from the impending marriage. Nzube hid her, even joining in the search for her alongside her parents, all the while praying that she would remain safe. Days turned into weeks, and Nzube and Iloma made the difficult decision to come clean about their relationship. Nzube brought Iloma back home, where they confessed their secrets to Okoye and his wife. The revelation left Okoye furious. He brandished his wooden gun and chased Nzube out of his compound, accusing him of betraying their friendship. Iloma was left feeling trapped and helpless. Her parents kept her under close watch, refusing to let her leave the house. She fell ill, her body weakened by stress and anxiety. Despite their efforts to care for her, Iloma's condition only worsened. One night, she collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, her life hanging in the balance. Nzube's heart sank as he heard about Iloma's illness. Ignoring Okoye's threats, he rushed to the hospital, desperate to see her. But once again, he was met with hostility, chased away by Okoye's anger. Outside the hospital, Okoye confronted Nzube, his words laced with bitterness and resentment. He accused Nzube of deceiving Iloma, of betraying their trust and taking advantage of their daughter's love. But Nzube tried to explain, to tell Okoye that his feelings for Iloma were genuine, that he would do anything to see her well again. But Okoye refused to listen, his mind clouded by anger and hurt. Defeated, Nzube returned home, his heart heavy with sorrow. He waited anxiously for news of Iloma's condition, praying for her recovery. Weeks passed, and Iloma remained in a coma. Okoye and his wife grew desperate, seeking answers from the doctors about their daughter's condition. The doctor advised them to be patient, to keep talking to Iloma, as she could hear them even in her unconscious state. They were told that bringing someone she loved to her side might help her wake up faster. Reluctantly, Okoye agreed, but he refused to bring Nzube to his daughter's bedside. However, his wife insisted, reminding him of how long Iloma had been in the hospital and urging him to put aside his pride for their daughter's sake. Finally, Okoye relented and they rushed to Nzube's house, begging him to come to the hospital and help Iloma. Without a word, Nzube followed them to the hospital, his heart filled with hope and fear. He sat by Iloma's bedside, talking to her softly, his eyes brimming with tears. His words seemed to reach Iloma, for later that evening, she moved a finger, a sign of life after weeks of silence. And at midnight, she opened her eyes, her gaze locking onto Nzube's tear-filled eyes. With a cry of relief, Iloma embraced Nzube, thanking him for coming to her side. Okoye and his wife rushed to their daughter's side, tears of joy streaming down their faces as they hugged her tightly. Turning to Nzube, Okoye swallowed his pride and thanked him for his role in Iloma's recovery. He admitted that he could no longer fight against their love, giving them his blessings and reconciling their differences. In that moment of sheer joy and relief, Nzube knew that their love had triumphed over all obstacles, bringing them closer together as a family. After Iloma's miraculous recovery and discharge from the hospital, Nzube knew it was time to take the next step in their relationship. With a heart full of love and hope, he finally asked Iloma to marry him, and she joyfully accepted. Their wedding was a celebration of love and family, with Okoye and his wife wholeheartedly supporting the union. Marcy too stood by their side, her presence a symbol of unity and acceptance. As months passed, Iloma found out she was pregnant, filling their hearts with even more happiness and anticipation. Nzube couldn't contain his excitement as he prepared to become a father once again. One day, Nzube received an unexpected call from the company he had worked for years ago. They informed him that his shares in the company had matured and he was entitled to a significant sum of money. With disbelief and gratitude, Nzube traveled to the city to collect his check. To his astonishment, he was handed a check of 200 million naira. It was a moment he could scarcely believe, his eyes widening at the sight of the generous sum. Filled with joy, Nzube returned home and shared the news with Iloma and her family. Together, they rejoiced in the newfound wealth, grateful for the blessings that had come their way. With their newfound fortune, Nzube and Iloma decided to relocate to the city where they could build a brighter future for themselves and their family. Nzube invested in a business for Iloma, supporting her dreams of owning a fashion brand while also starting his own successful venture. Their daughter Marcy remained a constant presence in their lives, her love and support unwavering. She affectionately called Iloma "my small stepmother," a testament to the bond they shared. As the years went by, their wealth grew, and their names became known throughout the city. Nzube's company flourished while Iloma's fashion brand gained prominence in the industry. Their love only grew stronger with time, their son by their side as a constant reminder of the love they shared. Nzube never ceased to appreciate Iloma for her unwavering support and devotion throughout the years. And in the end, their love conquered all obstacles, their family prevailing against all odds. They lived happily ever after, their hearts full of love and gratitude for the blessings they had received. As they looked back on their journey together, they knew that no matter what challenges they faced, as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything. And so, their story ended with a happily ever after, a testament to the power of love and family. The tale of Nzube and Iloma teaches us that love knows no bounds, not even age. Despite their age difference, Nzube and Iloma's love triumphed over all obstacles, including the disapproval of Iloma's father Okoye. Their unwavering commitment to each other, coupled with their resilience in the face of adversity, led to their ultimate happiness and success. Additionally, the story highlights the importance of reconciliation and forgiveness. Despite the initial conflict between Okoye and Nzube, they were able to put aside their differences for the sake of their loved ones. Through open communication and understanding, they were able to mend their relationship and support each other in their journey towards happiness. Overall, the lesson from this story is that love, understanding, and forgiveness are powerful forces that can conquer even the most challenging circumstances. By embracing these values, we can overcome obstacles and build stronger, more resilient relationships with those we hold dear. Thanks for watching this amazing story about Nzube, Iloma and Okoye on African Stories. If you liked it and felt inspired with their journey, please show your support by clicking the like button, sharing with your friends, and leaving a comment below. To see more interesting stories and learn about different cultures, subscribe to African Stories and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Your support means a lot and helps us bring more stories to you. Until we meet again, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep smiling.